Women, what has been your experience dating a stingy man? Part 2. Response 1. Once I went to dinner with a guy. Everything was going well until I didn't finish my meal and asked to take the rest to go. He started scolding me, asking why I had ordered it if I wasn't going to finish it, and I was like, what? He paid the bill, and when the waiter brought what I had asked to take away, he took it and put it in his backpack. Response 2. When I was younger, the guy I liked said, "I'll take you out to eat tomorrow at 6 p.m., and I was happy. The next day he called me before leaving his house and said, "I'm on my way to your place," and I was ready to go out with him. When the doorbell rang, I excitedly opened the door, and guess what? He arrived with fish, onion, tomato, pepper, cilantro, lemon, and rice for me to make dinner. I told him, "I'm not going to cook anything. I thought we were going out." And he said, "No, that's too expensive." My mom looked at me and signaled to kick him out, so I did, and that was the end of it with him. Response 3. I went out with a guy who invited me for ice cream and paid with expired coupons. I was so embarrassed that I had to pay. Then on my birthday, he gave me a stuffed animal that belonged to his little sister. I went out with another guy to whom I would pay for meals, which wasn't bad, but I caught him stealing the tip I left for the waiters. When I confronted him, he said they get paid as waiters and that tips are a gratuity they don't deserve. One day he invited me to the movies, and I had to pay for the tickets, the transportation fare, and even lend him money to get back. Response 4. I dated someone who had to travel about 30 minutes by public transport to see me, and he would charge me half of what he spent on transport. The height of absurdity. My most humble moment. Every time he left, he asked me for money for the fare, and I always had coins ready to give him. Once I asked my ex for flowers. We passed by a cemetery, and he went in to take a white rose from a grave. I was like, WTF. I went in and returned it to the poor deceased. We went to the movies with complimentary tickets given to him by the cinema for being an employee, and he charged me for them. I bought a small soda and popcorn for myself because he didn't want anything, but in the end, he took the popcorn bucket and ate them all. Response 5. Once I went with my ex to have dinner at a friend's house with her family. We made spaghetti with sauce, and there were leftovers in a package. Incredibly, he asked to take it home. I dated a guy who never even offered me water, and when I wanted something, I would obviously buy it for myself, and he would end up eating it. I would tell him if he also wanted some. Why didn't he buy it? And he would say because it costs money. He invited me on a date, and we arranged to meet at a place, but then he told me he couldn't make it there and asked me to wait for him somewhere else. I waited, and he arrived in his car. In the end, we stopped at a gas station, and he asked me to lend him money to fill up the tank. Not satisfied with that, he wanted to take me to his place, claiming it was his house. I said no, and he got really upset and left all indignant. After I paid for the gas, he wanted to. Seriously, don't be ridiculous. I was going to go out alone, and he offered to accompany me. He always wanted to go out with me, so I thought it was a good idea. But I didn't imagine that when he said, "accompany me," I would have to pay for his gas, take him to eat, and buy him drinks. The question: what do you think? Do you believe they were really stingy?